we are also saying there is what we call the change of state of matter. So we are saying matter can change from one state to another. So for example, we can have a solid changing into a liquid, or a liquid changing into a gas, and vice versa. So those are the things that we need to explain now. So you have to understand that the changes of state of matter simply happens because of addition or removal of heat. Okay, the reason why there exists some changes of state of matter is due to the addition and removal of heat. For example, Vanessa, try to concentrate. Okay, concentrate. Stop admiring whoever you are admiring that side. Okay, so now here we are saying, let's start with a solid. So a solid here, when you begin to apply some heat to a solid here, what is going to happen is this. These particles, as you are applying heat to a solid, the particles in a solid here, they will begin to absorb heat. So that heat, they will now be having kinetic energy. So as they have kinetic energy here, they are going to be, the particle distance will be increasing because they have enough kinetic energy. So the particle distance, which is the distance between particles, will be increasing. So as the particle distance now is increasing, then it is going to change its state because it will assume the arrangement of the liquid. So when you apply heat to a solid, the particles will gain enough kinetic energy, thereby increasing their particle distance. And when this happens, it will shift, it will change into a liquid. Okay, so the change of state from solid to liquid is known as the melting. So melting is the main word that I need you to know. Others, they call it liquefying, but the standard one is what? Melting. So again here, when you continue heating a liquid, what is going to happen is the particles will gain more and more kinetic energy, and this will also increase the particle distance even the more. So when the particle distance becomes increased even the more, it simply means that now the liquid will also assume the arrangement of a gas. So therefore, a liquid has changed to what? To gas. Now, the change of state from liquid to gas is actually known as the evaporation or vaporization. Forget about boiling. These are the correct terms: evaporation or vaporization. Okay, so now this was about adding heat. Now, how about if we are removing heat? So for example, if we start removing heat from a gas, we are removing heat. So if we remove heat from the gas here, it means that the particles will begin to lose kinetic energy. So as the particles lose kinetic energy, they will be moving closer. So they will move closer. Now, as they move closer, they will assume the state of a liquid. So the change of state from a gas to a liquid will simply be called what? Condensation. Okay, it will be called condensation, or also known as liquefying. Okay, then you continue removing the heat, also the particles will lose more kinetic energy and also arrange themselves like a solid. So the change of state from liquid to solid, this one is known as the solidification or freezing. Okay, so let me pause here. Any questions so far on what we have discussed? Any questions? Vanessa, any questions? Do you have answers? I ask you a question, are you going to give me answers? Okay, let's continue. Questions will come definitely. So we have talked about the changes of state of matter. Now we just want to know, like I said, we need to know, why should we sit here and begin to talk about the changes of state of matter? Why? So those are some of the things that we need to understand. So now, the changes of state of matter, we said they are brought about by heating, okay? By heating or by either applying heat or removing heat from a substance, okay? So now, heating is the application of heat to a substance, and heating has the following effect on matter. So it causes matter to melt, it causes matter to evaporate, and it also causes matter to do what is known as to sublime. So like I was talking about these things here, as you can see, we have talked about the changes of state of matter and all that, but there is also a situation where you can rapidly heat a solid and it will change directly to a gas without it first being a liquid. So the direct change from a solid to a gas, this one will be known as sublimation. Okay, the direct change from a solid all the way to a gas, this one will be known as sublimation. Then also we can also rapidly cool a gas. Rapidly cool a what? A gas. From a gas to a solid, and this one will be known as deposition. So there are two things. There is rapidly changing from solid to a gas, that is sublimation. Then there is also rapidly changing from a gas back to a solid without first being a liquid. That one will be called what? Deposition. Okay, so I thought I should mention that one. Okay, so now these effects, the effects of heating on matter is melting, evaporation, and sublimation. Okay, so as a substance is heated, like I've been saying, it absorbs more enough kinetic energy, and then when it possesses more kinetic energy, it will have that energy to start moving about. Okay, so now these are the kind of answers that we expect in the exam when they ask you, explain how a solid changes to a liquid. So you explain to say when a solid, the particles of a solid are exposed to heat, they gain enough kinetic energy. So this kinetic energy enables them to move further apart. So this increases the particle distance. When the particle distance is increased, then the solid will assume a new state.